Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we have our first new toy from the brand new Sentai Avataro Sentai DonBrothers. This is the DX ENYARIDEON. Very excited for this. They're actually doing something kind of neat this year. You can see our red for the new team, Don Momotaro, riding this bike, and he's actually going to debut in Zenkaiger, and then there's going to be some overlap and they're just going to kind of blend the two teams into each other, which is actually kind of cool. The gimmick's going to be similar, not exactly the same, but the gears that come with this actually can work in the Gearlinger, so we'll take a look at that. But it's just kind of a neat concept to kind of, instead of just having complete separation from year to year like we usually have, these two teams are going to kind of blend into each other, so I think that's really neat. But first off, I really have to talk about this artwork on this box, because this is beautiful. I absolutely love this. Really cool dynamic artwork here on the front. I love this like font choice over here for the ENYARIDEON. I think it's cool how it kind of carries around to the top. And then this is an actual picture of the toy here. The Change Hero series is actually in scale with the bike, so he can actually ride it. I think that's really cool. Not too much going on down here on the bottom. Cool picture of Don Momotaro there on the side. Over here on this side, we have Zenkaiger. And then on the back here, it just kind of shows the bike. It can combine with Juron, which of course we're going to take a look at. So very excited for this one. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we're going to take a closer look. So here's everything you get in the box. As you can see, there is a little bit of assembly required, but it's really not too much. You're going to take this eagle head piece, and there's a connector here. You can kind of see the face for the robot hiding underneath. Hello. That is going to connect onto here, so we'll just pop that on. Then you're going to take the windshield piece. There's a connector right here. That is going to connect onto there. Very simple. This piece here has a connector, which is going to connect here. There you go. You're going to flip this piece out to kind of form the back of the seat for the motorcycle. And you can see you're pretty much done. I did want to touch on the gear here. So this is the Don Momotaro gear. The box says that this is Sentai Gear number 46. It's kind of a weird amalgamation because it's kind of half Sentai Gear, half Avataro gear. So the outer rim is indicative of the new Avataro gears, but they're going to have like just drawn pictures with a piece of plastic over top. They're not going to have this kind of gold etching that we have here for the Sentai gears. So kind of the inside is a Sentai gear, the outside is an Avataro gear, so it's kind of a weird amalgamation, and there's not really going to be too many other ones like this. In fact, there's probably only one other one that I know of, more on this guy later. But as you can see on the back here, it has a little connection spot, so you can connect it to the wheel, and then it has this kind of like border around. This is how it's going to fit into the Gearlinger, or Gearlinger, I guess technically both. It'll kind of sit on here, and then that's how it'll spin. I believe when you put this in the new Don Blaster, it's going to use these teeth to kind of move around. So, I mean, the inside of the Don Blaster might have this as well, so that's kind of how it fits in. And then when the teeth go around, that's what hits the buttons to produce the sounds. But there's not going to be two sides like there are for the Sentai gear. So when we put this in the Gearlinger later, it's just going to be the one sound. We're not going to be able to flip it around to get more sounds out of it. But you're going to take this and you're just going to pop it right there onto the front. If you do have the other one, technically you can pop it over here as well. And then they kind of move as you roll. And then it has these things on the back that move up and down as you roll. I don't really know what those do, but the box is very excited about promoting the fact that those do move up and down as you roll. So there's that. And you can, of course, put a figure on here. Now, I don't have Don Momotaro available just yet, so we're going to have Zenkai Red be our stand-in, and I will go ahead and bend him at the hips here. Now, the cool thing is I have one of his fists on here, and there are little handholds. So right here, and then on the other side, you can put this guy on here, and you can kind of put the hand on that handhold. It doesn't peg in super tight, but it does kind of peg in a little bit. So you can at least get that going. We'll have his, we gotta have his cape flapping in the breeze as he's riding, right? Come on. So that's pretty cool. I really like that. I'm sure I could position him better, but it works. And so he can actually ride the bike, and I think that scales pretty well. I mean, he's falling off, which is not the best. Let's get him back on here. I do kind of wish, I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I wish the hands pegged on a little bit better, but also if they did, then it might be hard to get them off later, and I don't want to break anything. So, like I said, there's pluses and minuses to it, so I get it. They didn't want to make it too tight. And maybe the Change Hero figure will peg in better than the Yudo figures do. They're pretty similar in mold, but it is possible that the actual Change Hero figure will peg in a little bit better. But either way, just to display this, he's not falling off. I mean, he looks good. I like him riding it here. I think it's cool that just about any Yudo or Change Hero figure should be able to ride this. I'm not sure about the Zenkaidras because they're kind of blockier robots, but any of the normal human-sized figures should have no trouble. I would assume that goes for Soto and Shoto as well. Scaling might be a little different because Shoto and Soto are a little bit smaller, but they should still be able to ride this and, you know, shouldn't be too big a deal. So I think it looks pretty great. I really, really like the fact that the Change Hero series and, you know, Yudo, Soto, Shoto can all kind of scale with the DX toy here. I think it's nice that they're kind of marrying all their play patterns together and really cross, you know, promoting everything. And I think that really works. I think it looks pretty cool. So as we know, these two combined, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ENYARIDEON because when we start transforming Juron, it's going to set off his sound effects. ENYARIDEON does not have any sound effects or anything like that, so we can go ahead and just get this all transformed up. We're going to go ahead and close the seat. We're going to unpeg this piece. We're going to unpeg this piece, basically taking apart all the pieces that we added on when we first put it together. And then you're actually going to grab a hold of the front wheel here, and this whole section is going to pull out, which I actually think is kind of neat because it's pretty seamless and it clicks in there really nice that it's really hard to tell that that's even supposed to happen. So I think that's pretty cool, actually. We're going to take this section, we're going to rotate this 90 degrees, and then this section is going to just kind of pop out to the side to give that leg a little bit of angle so he can stand up. We're going to go ahead and take this section here and peg it onto the peg right here to attach the arm. There we go. Then we're going to take the blade piece that's going to peg in here to the side of the arm. So there we go. We're going to take this piece here, and the connection is actually here in the translucent blue part of the plastic, and that's going to connect onto this one here on the front. And it's actually kind of neat because this is going to kind of fill in this empty cavity that's been made by removing the arm. So when we click that on, you can see that kind of fills in the shoulder and the neck. And we have pretty much our robot there, which looks pretty good. So we will move him off to the side. Any chance he will stand up on his own? Yeah, he will. Good job. All right, so we're going to move this up. I didn't bring the shield over because we're going to use this as a shield, and you don't really need this sword because you have the arm blade over here, but he can actually hold the sword, which I'll show off in a minute. So if you do want that option, it's there. We are going to fold down the visor. We're going to spin this arm straight back. This piece is going to slide around, and then I'm going to move the head back like that. I believe this goes about there. We're going to spin this piece around all the way up to here, bring this down. Basically, you're just transforming Juron like you've probably already done several times. So when I open this up, it's going to set off the sound effects. So let's go. Whoop, we need that closed. Let's connect these together. So there you go. It says Super Juron, which we know is not correct, but we'll get there. We're going to take this piece. The robot head is underneath. We're going to flip that out. And you can see that there's a little connector here, and that is going to peg into this little connector spot right there. Probably going to want to hold on to this piece because it's a little difficult to get this to snap in, but if you hold on to everything, shouldn't be too bad. There we go. That's connected in. We can go ahead and pop this shield piece on. And then if you, like I said, if you'd like, you can go ahead and pop this sword in. You don't need to, but it can be done, so I just wanted to show that off. But there you go. So as the sound effect said when we put this guy together, it thinks its name is Super Juron, which is not correct. Per the box, his name is Don Zenkaio, which makes total sense. Obviously, when they made Juron, they didn't have that name in mind, so they couldn't, put that sound effect into him, so he just says Super Juron. but he is Don Zenkaio. He looks pretty cool. I like him a lot. I really like the head sculpt. If I move the camera up here just a bit, a lot of nice metallic paint there. You have those shades, which I really like. A lot of nice gold paint for the beak of the eagle head. He doesn't have a ton of kibble. I mean, Juron has all the same kibble that he's always had. But I think over here, the ENYARIDEON is pretty clean. It's a Sentai mech, so really articulation, all you're going to get is just the movement in the arms. And this one you can't even really move because the shield will kind of hit into this chest piece. But if you take that off, then you can move it. But it's just because the connection piece is so long because it needs to be for the bike mode. So there is that. But yeah, he looks cool. I think it's neat how they, carried the motif over. You have the T-Rex head and the eagle head with these pieces. And it's just kind of neat because I feel like this has got to be a first where we have two different Sentai mecha combining together like on purpose. It's not just like a CGI render during a movie, or it's not that, two different lines happen to use similar connection pieces, because I know we've seen things like that in the past. This is actually 100% meant to happen, and I think that's really cool. That's got to be a first where we have two Sentai teams with mecha that are meant to combine. I think that's really, really cool. So, yes, he's kind of basic, but I really like him. I like the design. I'm just having a ton of fun with it. I think it looks great. Alright, let's go ahead and try our new gear in the Gearlinger. So we're just going to pop this right in. So when you first pop it in, it says Shinban, which just means new number, and then it says new hero. So it just kind of makes a guttural sound there during that one. So not so exciting in the sounds that it makes, but it is neat that it still works in here. I think this thing is a ton of fun. Honestly, I'm having a blast with it. I think it's so smart to make it compatible with the Yudo/Change Hero figures, but it's also a DX mecha, so it's kind of a vehicle and a mecha all in one. It has the compatibility with Juron from last year, which is a lot of fun. And I think what they've kind of hinted at, they're going to be kind of shifting away from giant mecha this year. They're doing something where they're going to be invoking the powers of past Sentai with those altar things, and they're fighting in some kind of virtual reality dimension. Or I've tried to read some of the plot things for this show. I'm very confused. I mean, when the show finally comes out, it'll be explained. I'm very intrigued, but I really don't know what's going on. But if that's the case, I think it's kind of a smart idea to give us this little, like, mecha early so that it can combine with last year's. It gives you kind of a little taste of that, but then if they want to do something new, they can kind of shift to that when the actual show starts. Kind of a smart idea. And if that's the case, I mean, it might be okay. I know giant mecha have been kind of a staple for Sentai, but at least they gave us a little something, and if this is all we're getting, I still think it's kind of fun. And like I said, there's just so much playability packed into this. I mean, you have a gear here that's kind of an amalgamation between like the old gears and the new gears. It can work with the Gearlinger. You have a like a vehicle here for your Change Hero figures. You have a DX mecha as well. There's a lot of layers to this thing, and I think it's a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend picking it up, especially if you already have Juron, because then of course you can combine with that. But even just as like a fun vehicle for your Change Hero figures, I think it's kind of cool, and I think the gears are kind of neat. So I'll be interested to see how that's going to work going forward, because like I said, I know this one's kind of an amalgamation where the inside is kind of a Sentai gear, and then the outside is kind of an Avataro gear, and the newer ones just kind of have those, like, I guess not quite stickers, but just kind of like a painted on picture of a, Sentai member, and then a piece of plastic to cover it. So not as nice. I do kind of prefer the etched chrome. I think that looks sharper, but I get it. I probably should have just put this on not upside down, right? I guess it doesn't really matter. In any case, I do really like this. I definitely recommend picking it up if you can. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.